Please confirm. Can everyone still hear on the stream at least? On YouTube? Yes, no, maybe so. Lovely. All right, we're just going to let Discord have its temper tantrum. So let me know. What are you having problems with? Tell me. Tell me everything. And we'll answer one at a time. We'll try to get to as many different people as possible. Here's a link to it for everyone who's not able to find it. Hey, it's Theo. Let's see what you're dealing with, darling. What do you do when a girl says they used to like you? And you tell them you used to like them too. And you start talking a lot, but they moved to a different state. But you asked them out, in hopes you could make it work, and then they ghosted you and got a boyfriend? The audacity. So, if this happens, my advice. If they got a boyfriend, do we like the boyfriend? Probably not, because you want to be with this person. If they have a boyfriend, but they're in another state, depending how far it is and if you've got the funds, I would recommend hopping on a plane, or a boat, or something, shipping yourself off to their state, and finding said boyfriend, and getting rid of the problem. Without the boyfriend, then really there's really nothing standing in your way, is there? If you have a chainsaw, then that's even better. But if that goes against, I don't know, your moral compass or something, then this person probably wasn't better for you anyway. If they moved on from you and got a boyfriend, then they must not be that attached. So perhaps you should just cry. I suppose you just really have to cry and just let out your emotions and have a good little sob by yourself in some privacy, and then move on and find somebody who's twice as gorgeous, twice as kind to you, and twice as devoted. And then happiness is on the horizon. Thank you, Rice Poison. The best advice is always a chainsaw. A tiny cost. Grell, how do I ask out my crush? There's so many ways. Really, the possibilities here are endless. Let's see. You could write poetry. You might want to first figure out if they actually like poetry, though, because if they don't like it, then it's just going to be a lot of cringe, and then they don't actually want anything to do with you. If they don't like poetry... Well, if they do like poetry, then if you're not very good at writing, you can probably just ask a friend or rip something off of the internet. It's probably fine. If they're not into poetry, however, you could get them flowers. I can't think of anybody who doesn't like flowers. If they've got a thing against flowers dying, then get them fake flowers. They last forever. Or you could make them something. You could bake them a sweet. And even if it's ghastly and burnt and terrible, then at least you tried. Or, if all else fails, if these just seem like not your cup of tea, or not your talents, then just get them alone. Just Say, do you have some free time? I have something very important to tell you. Take them off, sweep them off into an empty room, an empty hallway, or an alleyway if that's your thing, and really, just tell them. What is there to be afraid of? If they say no, then it wasn't worth it anyway, and you can just walk away, no harm done. If they say yes, then your courage has been rewarded. Really not much to lose there. Ah, is Discord working now? Is it working? That is the question. Oh, thank you, Miraculous for Life. I do my best. What if we just leave? If we disconnect and reconnect, is it working then? That's the question. Celestial Eden, how do you get your hair to look so good? I wish I could sugarcoat this and tell you some cliché answer like magic or the tears of children or the blood of my enemies. But really, it takes an incredible amount of maintenance and red. If you want your hair to look as good as mine, then you're going to have to take the first step, and that is to make sure that it is red. Because red is the best color, and there's no disputing it. So if you get that far, then touch base with me and let me know where you're at. Ooh, Astrala. Also, I'm probably going to butcher your usernames, and I would apologize, but there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm not sorry. What should bring a lady as a present for our first date? Ooh, exciting. We've never met before, and I'm very nervous about tomorrow. Please help, Grell. A first date? How romantic. I suppose it sort of also depends on the circumstances of the date. Where are you taking her? What are you doing? Are you going to see a movie at the cinema? Are you going to dinner at a romantic candlelit restaurant? Are you taking a walk together alone in the woods where no one can disturb you? Who knows? Because depending where you're at, your gifts may differ. If you're going to see a movie at the cinema, then you can't exactly bring a box of chocolates unless you're going to smuggle it in, which you could, and who's going to stop you? But as long as you make sure you know her food allergies and things, you could always bring chocolates or other kinds of sweets. You could bring... I always found stuffed animals a little endearing. If you happen to know her favorite animal, perhaps? You could always do that. Or jewelry. A little trinket of sorts, something shiny and sparkly, because diamonds really are a girl's best friend, apart from, you know, weapons and things that make other things go boom. What is a movie without smuggling food, really, though? Cloud Gremlin. How does an extreme introvert ask someone out? Fewer words. Less eye contact. And, why don't you just write them a note? That's easy enough. Write them a little love letter. Maybe some poetry if they're into poetry, but... touché. I digress. And just give them a little love note, and then you don't have to say a word. And then they can either say yes or no, and then you pick it up from there on out. Ooh! Now we're getting to the good stuff. Is that I.Isa? Is that Liza? Lisa? Who knows? You there. Grell, how do you hide a body? Sounds like you're in a bit of a tizzy, aren't you? Here's the trick. There's a few things you can do. Now, I do come from a time when forensic sciences were not nearly as developed, and if you saw a pool of blood in the hallway, all you could do was shrug and guess who it might have come from. We don't really look for DNA samples. That's not really a thing. But burning it is a very good standby. If you set it on fire, then there's really not much left, is there? You just have to make sure that there's nothing left. Also, you can bury it. But here's the thing. If you bury it, bury something else on top of it. This is a wonderful trick in the book that so many people forget about, and it really does make your murders look very bad and very amateur. If you bury the body, dig a hole nice and deep down, and put the body in that, and put some dirt over that, and then put something else on top. Like a dead dog or something. Because if Scotland Yard comes around or something and has their dogs and they're sniffing out for dead bodies, they'll find it. The people will dig it up, but they'll find a dead dog. And they'll think, I suppose that's all it was, and then they'll just walk away. Who would ever assume that there's another dead thing under a dead thing? Not many people. Problem solved. Grell asks, Twilumi, how do you know whether or not you like someone? How do you know if they're the one? It's hard to describe, really. It's a rather magical feeling. It happens... It's sort of an all-over-body experience, but really it happens deep in your chest, a little bit in the pit of your stomach. It all comes down to a moment, I think. And it can happen slowly over time, but eventually for somebody, for everyone, eventually there comes a single moment when you're in someone's company and you're listening to their low, sultry tones of voice and looking into their eyes and looking at their strong, gloved hands. Unless it's not Sebastian that you're talking about, in which case, you know, whatever kind of voice or whatever kind of hands they have. You're in their company and you're talking to them, or you're just looking at them, gazing upon them with your own batting eyelids. And you have a thought. It's not so much a coherent thought, but it's a thought that you would rather be nowhere else. Where you're at in this moment, you wish you could just freeze time and just be stuck in this little loop of a moment for the rest of your life. And you would be content with it. You can see yourself spending the rest of your life with them, having charming little domestic moments in the kitchen together and whatever else. It's complicated, but you want to be with them, spend time in their space, and being somewhere else just really doesn't seem like that good of an idea. And it might take you a while to realize that it's anything out of the ordinary or anything special, but when you know, you know. Let's see, what do we have here? How to keep yourself motivated. It helps to have a boss who keeps up to date with your every move and asks you when you've gotten your things done and likes to wallop you over the head with something rather sharp. That helps a lot. And if you don't feel like doing your actual work, it keeps you motivated to keep on running away from responsibility. Ah, Jessie, how do you get over falling for someone that doesn't like you? A series of things. Depending on how things ended, you can cry, but not too hard because you don't want to mess up your makeup. Or you can get angry. Take something sharp and stab a few pillows. That always helps. And really, I think the best thing is to flaunt your independence. If you wanted to be codependent with someone and it didn't work out, then the best thing to do is go to the completely opposite side of the spectrum and just be as independent as possible and flaunt it. Go out on the town, get dressed up, get dolled up, feel gorgeous and stunning all by yourself, and go out into the world. And notice how many people are stopping and staring at you as you walk by, because what feeling in the world is better than that? Knowing that you're making people drool in your wake. Stalker 257? What do you mean? Help me with Sebastian? How? How would you know? I challenge that information. How do you know when it's time to end a relationship? When you're bored. When the negative moments outweigh the positives. When you're talking with someone but it feels like you're talking at them and not with them anymore because they're not listening and nothing ever happens and nothing ever changes. When more often than not, you think that you would have a much better time in life being by yourself than with the other person. At that point, you should probably start to notice that there might be some red flags. Ugh! Tiny Cos, why on earth would you want Ciel to fall in love with you? That brat? I don't know. Give him sweets, never talk to him, and never visit him? I think he likes to keep to himself. So, if you pretend like you don't exist, you might just be perfect for him. Oh, thank you, Hufflepuff Baker. Grell, you have such beautiful skin. How do you take care of yourself? This is where the tears of children and orphans and the blood of my enemies comes in. It's really good for exfoliation and closing up the pores. Mixie, Sammy, how do you get Aloise to love you? Oh! You don't! He belongs in an asylum. And yes, perhaps I also belong in an asylum, but at least I'm smart enough and pretty enough to get out of it. Hmm. Grell, apart from red, what's the next best color? Ooh. That's a toughie. See, I do like black because it's a flattering color on practically everyone, very slimming on the figure. And it also looks very, very good on certain broody men. But white, on the other side of the spectrum, is also rather a nice color. Both options pair with red very well. They're good complements to it, and that's really all I can think about right now. But red also shows up really well on white, so if ever I'm out reaping a soul and they're wearing white, it just makes my time so much more fun. Feel like I'm painting a blank canvas. Mm. You can tell me a trick for making Bassie fall in love with me. Ooh. I'll humor you. Let me know what it is, and perhaps I'll be the judge of that. How would one go about dealing with aggravating figures of authority, asks Maddie. Flirt with them as hard as you possibly can, and usually that works, especially if your technique is refined enough. If it doesn't work, how authority is the authority figure? Because if you killed them, would anyone notice? If not, then really that's a fair standby for most people. If they would notice, though, then things get a little bit complicated. Get creative. Ooh, it can be a 1-2 step. Flirt with them as hard as you can. Seduce them. Lure them into some back alley or on top of a building, and then just finish the job. No more authority figures. Mixie Sammy. Is it still good to flirt with your girlfriend after 6 months of being together? Of course it is. You have to maintain a little spice in that relationship, darling, or things get stale. Flirting never gets old, unless you use the same one-liners over and over again, but you've got to get creative. Keep her on her toes. Keep her guessing. Ugh. If only I could turn into a cat, then Sebastian really would pay attention to me, wouldn't he? I'd love to get some scratches under the chin. Ooh, an actual floof. Grell, how can someone attain such a fantastic sense of style like yours? Well, first of all, thank you. I do find that women's clothes do rather a good job. They're always so nicely embellished. They're so fancy. There's so many more options to choose from. So, work. A lot of practice. Trial and error. You're going to have some outfits that are not a look. You're going to try things that with colors that don't go together. Prints that clash. Lengths that maybe aren't exactly right for your body silhouette, but that's all right. Because it's all part of the journey. You have to learn through mistakes, and that's all right. And if someone points out your mistakes in an untoward manner, then you make them regret it, and you move on, and you keep trying new things until you have people worshipping the ground that you walk on. I don't think I can be trusted to take on any apprentices at this current time. I think Will would have something rather rude to say about that. Something about me not being responsible enough. I'm barely responsible for myself as it is. Oh, what will my wedding with Sebastian look like? Alex the gamer, stop it. You're going to get my hopes up. But my wedding dress would be red. I hope you know that. 100% it would be red. With red rose petals all down the aisle on either side. A beautiful red velvet carpet. Oh, and Sebastian wearing a pitch black tuxedo suit. The dark, broody contrast between the two of us would just be delightful. Don't even get me started on the honeymoon. Yes, certainly, if it ever happens, you're all invited to the wedding. Would I rather Sebastian wear red to our first date or black? I think he can keep wearing his typical black, but if he had like a little red corsage or something, I think that would be rather cute. But this isn't about me, this is about you. This is about answering your problems. Estrella, becoming a Shinigami is a rather grim process. Technically, people become Grim Reapers after they die, but not because of something that somebody else did to them. It's because of something that you do to yourself, if you pick up what I'm putting down. That's how you become a Grim Reaper. And then you get recruited, and then you go through training, which is terribly boring and rigorous at the same time. And, that's that. Some make it, some don't. The audio worked for like 3 seconds. R.I.P. Discord. How do you deal with clingy people? Rose X Soulfire. How do you deal with clingy people? Wear something incredibly sharp and pointy. Just put little knives on your jacket. And then if they try to cling to you, they end up getting stabbed. That should teach them to fix their habits rather quickly. Discord really said no Grim Reapers today, unfortunately. Kai scribbles. Do I think it's a good idea for you to ask your friend out? Perhaps. Depends. It's a little complicated. Some people are rather reluctant to change, you see. Human nature is naturally rather opposed to it. But sometimes friendships developing into something more is the best kind, because you've already established a lot of trust and you already know you enjoy the person's company. You just add romance to it, which, in my opinion, works well with every type of relationship. I would say go for it. Oh, Chomidoku. How can you date me? Hmm, that's a tough one. I have rather high standards. A lady such as myself deserves only the best. Can you paint clothes with blood to get them red to look fabulous like me? Absolutely. It's the best type of dye. What do I think of Ciel's and Lizzy's arranged relationship? Sounds rather dull and boring to me. I don't personally see a lot of chemistry. There's no spice, there's no excitement. There's no late night romps around the city in the dead of night wielding sharp objects. I don't particularly see it going very far. But that's just me. Ah, a good question, an actual floof. They ask Grell, what books do I recommend? A distinguished lady obviously has to have an extensive library. Hmm, I'll let you in on a little secret. I actually think reading is terribly boring and I don't actually enjoy it very much. But the types of books that I do enjoy, I don't think I can talk about in a PG-13 stream, so use your imagination. Romance novels. They're very intriguing. Might give you a few pointers on relationships as well, if you want to be glamorous about it. Oh, you do have red hair. What's the next step? If you have red hair, then you have to maintain it, obviously. If you start to lose any of that delicious color, then what's the point? If it's naturally red, you've been a gifted, blessed person. I hear coconut oil's rather good. If your hair's rather thin, I hear castor oil also helps with hair growth, which is rather nice. Keeps it all shiny and lustrous. Be sure to put shampoo at the roots, not all the way down, and conditioner towards the ends. Divide and conquer. They work in unison. They don't need to go in the same place, or else your scalp's going to get oily, and nobody wants that. You don't need to shampoo and shower every day. Just as needed. The human body is a wonderful thing and it adapts to its conditions that you put it in. So if you don't shower every day, you won't get as oily. It's magic. As I'm a Grim Reaper, and I'm beyond dead, I don't really have an issue with hair oils anymore, so my hair's just always perfect. Unless I've been thrown around rooftops for too long, and then it gets a little bit ratty, but nothing a wide-toothed comb can't fix. And please, for the love of all that's unholy, comb at the ends first. Start at the ends and work your way up. Don't rip your hairs. Don't get split ends. Any sad movies I tend to enjoy. I do think the Titanic is rather romantic. Ooh, how do you get rid of a toxic friend? Honestly, if it were me, I would just call them out. I have too much going on in my wonderful life to waste time on somebody that doesn't care for me the way that I might care for them. If somebody isn't treating you well, know that you deserve far better and far more than they have to offer you. And let them know. Call them out. Tell them, you know what? I think my time would be better invested in somebody else that actually appreciates me for all I have to offer. Farewell. See you never. As much as I hate to say it, darlings, we only have a few minutes left, so it's time to start wrapping things up. Tried to cover a few different types of questions from all of you lovely people that decided to join me in keeping me's company, so hopefully it offered you some helpful advice. Also, an actual floof, I think skull decor is rather classy and baroque, no matter what type of year. Doesn't have to be just for Halloween. So, thank you all for being here. I've had a lovely time. Apologies once again for all the technical difficulties. Technology is truly beyond me. Oh, actually, one moment. Do I only have 5 minutes left? I don't think so. No, we actually have 30 minutes left, because it's supposed to be a 90-minute panel. Feel free to double-check Kat, staff member, in case I'm incorrect, but I believe both of the back-to-back panels that I'm hosting are an hour and a half each. So we may actually have more time than I think we do. Yes, so I believe we're good. If I'm wrong, somebody will tell me. So we're fine. So, go ahead, continue, lay all of your problems upon me. I'm ready. Yes, Shay, this panel will end up being posted upon this YouTube channel afterwards for people to watch and enjoy. Molstar 622, how do I get as flamboyant as you? Well, heels help, always. Add a few extra inches and, honey, your entire posture and your entire life would instantly rise and become better and transcend to a whole new level of happiness. Heels make everything better, no matter who you are. Kit, how do I fight in heels? I will say some people's natural ability of balance is perhaps better than others, but practice. I don't think anyone is ever a natural at walking in heels. You just have to give it a chance. I've been wearing them for years. So, at this point, it's second nature. Ugh, how does one go about finding themselves a respectful man such as Bessie? Darling, I hate to say it, but they are far and few between. A man like Sebastian doesn't come around every dime a dozen. He's a rare breed. But really, it just takes time. Attend social gatherings, put yourself out there, so to speak, and be prepared to be disappointed and underwhelmed most of the time. But every once in a while, you'll come across someone that really just sweeps you off your feet. What is the best red accessory for a red dress? Oh, no worries, Kat. Thank you for checking up on me. Best red accessory for a red dress. You could go a few different ways. I do think, and I might be biased, I do think a bright red glasses frame really does wonders for the face. Eyeglasses are truly jewelry for the eyes. Also a pair of red heels, because heels. Let's be honest. A bright red chainsaw. Also a fair answer. Mixie, Sammy's girlfriend, wants to know how to get Sebastian to fall in love. Darling, if I knew the answer to that, would I be sitting here? Or would I be breaking into the Phantom Hive Manor at this very moment to spend time with him? Unfortunately, I don't know. There are many things that I do know, not many things that I don't, but unfortunately that is one of the things that I'm still trying to figure out. Miraculous for life. The favorite person that I've killed. Probably my dear darling Madame Red. We had fun while it lasted, and I got a very, very lovely jacket out of it. But unfortunately, I just can't waste my time on everyone. No, I'm not streaming from the Phantom Hive Manor. Chomidoku, how can I tell my friend that I have a problem with her without her getting even angrier? Well, I mean, I suppose it depends how dire the problem is and how urgent the issue might become. In this circumstance, I think I'd agree with the old cliché that honesty is probably the best policy. But perhaps don't come on too terribly strong. I hear that it's better communication for conflict management to use basically framing things from your point of view and not pointing fingers and accusing people of making you feel a certain way. I don't know. If it were me, I'd probably just tell her, and if she gets angrier, then it probably tells you something about her as a person. But if you value your friendship, I suppose it's worth taking the time to try to work it out. How do you get rich by killing people? Well, assassins is a career choice. There are people who do seek out that type of work, and I hear pay rather well for it. So, you didn't hear it from me, but I might try there. Mistletoe. How to get somebody under the mistletoe around Christmas time. It's hard to say. I think there's multiple strategies you could take with it. I might liken it to getting somebody alone so that you can, kill them and take their soul. But they don't die, they just kiss you instead. Is that not the same thing? Close enough. How do I know who to kill and who not to? I mean, it's written down for me. We all get assignments here. Where all of us Shinigami work, we all get a list of people that are scheduled to pass on any given day or night, and we go down the list. It's rather dull when you've done it for so long. Unless they die in very extravagant ways, and then it's quite the show. If you're talking about you, how you would know, I suppose you'll just have to work off of intuition and what feels right. No, this isn't about me, children. This is about solving your problems. I could talk about myself for hours, but that's not why I'm here. I felt generous today, so don't waste it. Ooh. Oh, this is a fun question. An actual floof asks, there's a thin line between rivalry and romance. Are you a fan of rivals to lovers or enemies to lovers tropes? Oh my god, yes. I think it's so fun. The tension, the tantalizing, torrid emotions between two people. I think it's delightful. I think it's very romantic. Showing the character development of you start by feeling one way about someone, but you start to see that there's more to them than you first thought meets the eye. I think it's very good. Could never get tired of it. Yes, Astrala will be very angry at me that I'm doing this instead of doing my work, so don't tell him, and what he doesn't know won't hurt him. I really want to go into fashion design. Ooh, but I'm not sure if I should go to college or not. On one hand, going to college will certainly put my foot in the door and can teach me a lot of helpful things. But on the other hand, it's very expensive, and I don't really need a degree to do what I want to do. What do you think? Ah, the age-old question. Well, when you say you don't need a degree to do what you want to do, then does that imply that you're already currently doing that? even without having gone to university? If that's the case, then perhaps you are simply where you need to be at the right time, and you needn't change anything else. However, perhaps you could compromise, at least while you make up your mind, and go to university, pick up a couple of classes, and try a few things out, see what they know, learn a few things, and if you think it might be worth your time, you can keep going. Continue to pursue it, see where it takes you. And if you go to university, you might meet some very, very attractive people. You never know. Ooh. Grell, job advice. I would love to become a therapist, but I had to study about 8 more years. If I become a zookeeper, which would be my dream job, in kindergarten for years, I would only have 1 year left, but money. Therapists make better money. Fair enough. Well, I say become a zookeeper and marry someone rich. It's a win-win. You get to do your dream job, you have money. And hopefully a spicy romance to go along with it. Lucky devil, how do you know if your best friend likes you? Because I like him, but I think he likes someone else. Perhaps you can do a little test. You could ask him if he has free time to hang out with you. Hopefully, he says yes. Now, when he says yes, you tell him what you want to do, which perhaps you suggest something rather romantic, such as going out to dinner, or coming over, staying the night, watching a movie late at night, just the two of you. You know, something that most people would construe as being something romantic, and see what his reaction is. Does he agree? Because if he does, then perhaps it's because he would actually enjoy being in such a circumstance with you alone. If he seems hesitant and makes up some kind of stupid excuse to be somewhere else, then perhaps that's not exactly what he had in mind. Ooh, Alex the Gamer, an interesting twist. Best animal to help me complete the kill. Ooh, looking for a little companion to help you do your dirty work. Perhaps. Trying to think of something interesting and actually helpful. A poison dart frog. If you have a poison dart frog, you can make poison darts, which can help you kill people, obviously. At a distance and silently. They'll never know what hit them. Quite literally. Or if you have multiple poison dart frogs, you can put them in someone's drink. And then they'll drink it. And they'll be poisoned. It's a win-win. Nobody would ever know what hit them. They'd never see it coming. Hmm. Ah. Hey, it's Theo. What do you do when you're non-binary, but your parents don't believe in that, and you can't kill your parents? Drat. Well, if that's not an option... I'll be honest, that's a tough one. I understand what it's like to feel a certain way, and not everybody else really sees you the way that you see yourself, and it's not an easy position to be in. If you're young, if you're not an adult yet, if you're still living with your parents, to a certain point, you may just have to keep being yourself, remind them of who you are in little ways, without being too forceful, because they may react quite negatively to that, and you don't have time to deal with that. Hopefully, with time, they may realize that there might actually be something to it, and it's not actually a phase. Ugh. And if all else fails, at some point, it will come to pass, because you'll grow up a little bit, you'll move out, you'll have your own life, and then you can be proud and fabulous in who you are, and they really can't do anything about it. And when they see just how incredibly happy you are being yourself without having their storm clouds looming over your head, hopefully they'll come to realize that perhaps they weren't correct and they were wrong. Ah, I know, death by frog juice. I do think it's rather brilliant. Oh, the best weapon to kill someone with without a chainsaw. Fire. Leaves less evidence. Pretty light show. Warm and comforting feelings. And if you really don't like the person, it's very slow. Fire. No, it's not bad that you don't have a chainsaw. It's certainly not bad that you don't have a soul-reaping chainsaw. Death scythes are not exactly easy to come by if you're not a Grim Reaper. Tiny Cos wants advice on fashion and how to stand out. There's a few things you can do here. I find monochromatic color schemes are very fashionable. So, similar to what I've done, but you could go even further. You pick one color and you wear all of that. Just a head-to-toe, one-color outfit. It's a statement. It's iconic. Nobody can ever not look at you when you look like that. You can wear bright, contrasting colors, such as red, white, black, so to speak. Coordinate your hair, your lipstick, your shoes, your accessories if you'd like. You can incorporate print, bold prints, clashing prints, mix and match things, try stuff. You never know what's going to happen. And confidence. You can never forget the confidence, because confidence sells literally anything. For real this time, 10 minutes left for the panel. Yes, you are correct. What's the most painful death? Well, there's an interrogation tactic that was used once upon a time where you put a rat in a bucket and you put the bucket against a person and the rat wants to get out of the bucket but it can't, so it gets out through the person. So being eaten by rats is probably rather up there. How can I get my dad to stop calling me by my dead name? Asks Ray the Duck 2002. Stop answering to it. It's not your name, is it? Just stop answering. It's like it doesn't even happen. You just hear a little bird chirp in the distance and you go, interesting. Continue about your day. Kit, what's confidence? Can I eat it? I don't believe you can, but if you incorporate enough confidence within yourself, people will be eating you up. Do I allow you to date William? Chomidoku, I would love to see you try. And I'm being perfectly honest, that man is very hard to get to. Cold as ice, that one. Lily Davis 8. How do I explain to my friends that cosplay and anime are not weird? Well, what is weird? What is normal? I think that's the more important question. I think normal is overrated. I don't think anyone's really normal. Everybody has their own things going on. How would you marry Sebastian? I don't know, have a irresistible, delectable soul and tell him that he can have it after you're married? I don't know at this point. If you're in lockdown with your parents and don't get along with your mother, Kyle is a rat. Don't go crawling out of any buckets, Kyle. Tough one. Do you live upstairs? Do you have a bedroom window? Can you get onto the roof? Find moments of your own world. Hide away. Plug into some music. Have your own moment. Have your own fashion shows in your bedroom. Whatever you can to feel apart from it all. Find tranquility, serenity, and solace in your own mind. Because sometimes when you're with people that you can't stand, it's all you can do. Ugh, you can't get onto the roof. Rats. Ooh, tiny cost. Grell, how would I look as amazing as you but on a budget? Where do you think I got this jacket, honey? It was free. I just took it off of a dead woman. how do you deal with rude customers at work? I don't know, do you care if you get fired? If it were me, I really don't have enough time in my life or enough cares to give them the time of day. But if you actually want to keep your job, then ooh, flirt with them. I think that works to solve a lot of problems. If they're rude to you, flirt with them. They won't be expecting it. They'll be stunned into silence. Yes, we are at the official actual 5-minute mark now. So, time to start wrapping things up, darlings. Thank you so much for being here. I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you. I know, time flies terribly quickly when you're having fun. So thank you all for being here. But don't despair. Well, it might be time's up for me. You can still hang around, and the panel right afterwards, you can still stay and ask somebody else questions. Uptown Cosplay, whoever the heck that is. Happy early birthday, Tiny Cos. Ah, you're all so sweet. I'm glad you had a good time. Hopefully you got some good morsels of helpful information with your life. I've been told that whenever I give advice to people that I should say to take it with a handful of salt, but do as you will with it, take it or leave it. I know, who is Uptown Cosplay? No idea. Ah! A flying kiss from me. Ooh, of course. All of the kisses. The Q&A is going to be on a separate live stream. I will pop back into this chat and drop a different link, which will take you over to that stream as well. So it will be a new link, but it will be set up basically exactly the same. And it will be in the same panel room. So you all can just sort of stay here or pop back in. Farewell. Love you all. Thank you for being here. And everybody say thank you to Kat as well, our wonderful staff member who's keeping me on my toes. Everybody here at CursedCon is working very hard to make sure things go as smoothly as possible. Psh, thank you, Kat. You're too kind. So I'm going to close the live stream now, pop out for just a quick second to reset the stream, and then I will be back in just a moment. So thank you all. Be back in a minute or two, momentarily.